It's a Sunday afternoon and you're scrolling. Not looking for anything specific. Just moving through whatever the algorithm decided you needed to see today. And then one appears. How I made $1 million in 18 months. Or, turn $1,000 into $100,000 with this one strategy. And for a moment, just a moment, something in you pauses. Because you work. You earn real money. You're not irresponsible. But when you open your banking app on a random Sunday afternoon, it doesn't look like progress toward anything dramatic. And that video is claiming someone your age, apparently with less than you started with, figured something out that you haven't. So the question forms. Am I missing something? Is building real wealth actually possible for someone like me? Or is everything online just noise dressed up in thumbnail graphics? Here's the honest answer. Most financial content online exists at one of two extremes that both fail you in different ways. The first extreme is the get-rich-fast content, crypto systems, day trading strategies, dropshipping secrets, the kind of content that promises dramatic results in unrealistic timeframes and quietly leaves out the part where most people who try it lose money. The second extreme is the conventional slow advice. Just invest in index funds for 40 years and you'll be fine at 65. Technically true. Completely useless to someone in their 20s or 30s trying to understand what the next 5 years should look like. Neither extreme tells you what's actually true. Which is this. Building serious financial momentum doesn't take 40 years. And it definitely doesn't happen in 6 months. But 5 years. 5 years is a realistic, achievable time frame to fundamentally change your financial position if you focus on the right things in the right order. Not the flashy version. The version that actually works. The first uncomfortable truth. Saving alone will not build wealth. Before anything else gets discussed, this needs to be said clearly because most people spend years operating on the assumption that saving more is the primary path to wealth. It isn't. Saving is necessary. Saving is the foundation. But saving alone is trying to fill a swimming pool with a teaspoon. The effort is real. The result is inadequate for the goal. Here's what the math shows. Someone saving $300 a month, which is genuinely better than most Americans manage, since Federal Reserve data shows nearly 40% of adults can't cover a $400 emergency without borrowing, is putting away $3,600 a year. Over 5 years, that's $18,000 in contributions. Invested at a conservative 8% annual return, that becomes roughly $21,000 to $22,000 at the end of 5 years. That's good. That's real money. That's better than nothing. But it is not life-changing. It is not the kind of number that changes your options, alters your trajectory, or gives you the feeling of genuine financial momentum. And here is what most people don't realize about the first 5 years of building wealth. The biggest driver of financial progress in the early stages is not how much you invest. It's how much you earn. Early in your financial journey, your most powerful asset is not your savings account. It is your earning ability. Think of your income as the engine of a car. If the engine is small, no amount of clever driving changes the speed. You can optimize every other variable, fuel efficiency, route, weight, and the small engine is still the ceiling on how fast the car moves. You need more horsepower. The same principle applies to money. When your income increases, everything else becomes easier simultaneously. Saving becomes easier. Investing becomes easier. Debt disappears faster. The whole system accelerates because the input grew. Consider two people starting with identical situations. Person A earns $3,000 a month and saves 10%. That's $300 a month. Person B earns the same $3,000 but spends the first 2 years of the 5 investing in skills, pursuing promotions, and building a side income. By year 3, their monthly income has grown to $5,000. They save the same 10%. That's $500 a month now. The difference between $300 and $500 a month, sustained over the remaining years of the 5-year window, is $12,000 in additional savings. If the income gap grows larger, which it tends to do because income growth compounds too, the difference becomes significantly more. This is why income growth is step 1. Not investing strategy. Not savings optimization. Income growth. Because income is the engine, and everything else is the vehicle. Step 1. Grow your income. 5 years is more time than most people treat it as. It is enough time to develop a skill from beginner to genuinely valuable. Enough time to change careers entirely. Enough time to start something on the side and grow it from nothing to meaningful. Enough time to negotiate raises multiple times and switch jobs strategically. Data from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics consistently shows that workers who switch jobs increase their salary by 10 to 20% on average per move. Do that twice in 5 years and the income picture looks fundamentally different than it did at the start. Not because anything lucky happened. Because time was used to build the conditions for a different outcome. The question isn't whether income growth is possible in 5 years. It is. The question is what you spend those 5 years doing. Whether you spend them operating at your current level or actively building toward the next one. The obstacle most people hit isn't income growth itself. It's what happens after income grows. Step 2. Lock in your savings rate before lifestyle catches up. When income increases, something predictable happens. Lifestyle inflates to meet it. The raise comes through. The apartment gets upgraded. The car gets upgraded. The restaurants get more expensive. The subscriptions multiply. The habits shift upward to match the new number. And within a few months, the higher income produces the same bank account it replaced, because the spending grew alongside it. Psychologists call this hedonic adaptation. The brain adjusts to improvements rapidly. The new car feels extraordinary for approximately 3 months. Then it becomes normal. Then it becomes baseline. Then the desire for the next upgrade begins. The cycle is predictable, well-documented, and devastating to financial progress if you don't design around it. The rule that works is simple. Every time your income increases, automatically direct at least half of the increase into savings or investment before it becomes available to spend. If a raise adds $1,000 a month to your income, $500 of that goes directly into savings before it touches your lifestyle. The other $500 you can enjoy without guilt, because you protected the half that compounds. This one rule, applied consistently every time income grows, is the mechanism that prevents lifestyle inflation from neutralizing the gains from step 1. It converts income growth directly into wealth growth instead of lifestyle growth. Step 3. Make your savings work. Once you have consistent savings, money you've protected from lifestyle inflation, money that is genuinely accumulating, those dollars need a job beyond sitting still. The historical case for broad market investing is straightforward and well established. The S&P 500 has returned approximately 10% annually on average over the past century. Not every year. Markets fluctuate. Some years produce dramatic gains. Some years produce significant losses. But across long periods, consistent investment in broad market index funds has been one of the most reliable wealth-building tools available to ordinary people. Here's what 5 years of consistent investing looks like with the numbers that Step 1 and Step 2 make possible. Suppose income growth and controlled lifestyle inflation allow you to invest $1,000 a month. Over 5 years, that's $60,000 in contributions. With moderate market growth, that portfolio reaches approximately $70,000 to $75,000 by year 5. That number is real and meaningful. But here's what most people miss about the 5-year number. The portfolio balance at year 5 is not the point. The momentum is the point. Because someone who reaches year 5 with $70,000 invested, a doubled income, and a locked-in savings habit doesn't have a $70,000 story. They have the launching pad for the next 5 years. And the next 5 years, built on top of that base, move dramatically faster than the first 5 did. Compounding doesn't feel impressive in year 1. It starts becoming visible in year 3. It becomes genuinely powerful in year 7. And it becomes something that doesn't require explaining anymore somewhere around year 10. The 5-year work is what makes the 10-year number possible. What this actually looks like in a real life. Someone in his early 20s spending years frustrated by money. Income barely covering expenses. Savings balance that felt embarrassing. The constant low-level stress of a financial situation that wasn't getting worse but wasn't getting better either. One decision. For 5 years, focus on 3 things and only 3 things. Grow the income, avoid lifestyle inflation when the income grows, invest consistently with whatever the discipline produces. No complicated strategies. No speculative trades. No shortcuts. Just those 3 behaviors, compounded across 5 years. 5 years later, over $80,000 invested. Income doubled from where it started. The next 5 years already accelerating because the momentum built in the first 5 was now doing work on its own. That is not a dramatic story. It is not a thumbnail-worthy transformation. It is what actual wealth building looks like from the inside. Quiet, incremental, occasionally boring, and completely transformative over the time frame it requires. The realistic roadmap, stated simply. 1. Income growth first. Your earning ability is your most powerful financial asset in the early stages. Treat developing it as the primary financial priority. 2. Lock in savings before lifestyle inflates. Every raise, every income increase, capture at least half of it into savings or investment before it becomes available to spend. The habit must be automatic or lifestyle wins every time. 3. Invest consistently in simple, long-term assets. Not complex strategies. Not speculative trades. Broad market index funds, consistent monthly contributions, regardless of what the market is doing in any given month. 4. Stay consistent for the full 5 years. This is where most people fail, not because the strategy stops working, but because the absence of visible results in the early months produces doubt, and doubt produces drift, and drift produces 5 years that passed without the work being done. The truth most people don't want to hear. Wealth doesn't come from one brilliant decision made at the right moment. It comes from hundreds of ordinary decisions made consistently over a period long enough for the compounding to work. There is no version of this that doesn't require 5 years of discipline. There is no shortcut that produces the same outcome without the time. The get-rich-fast content isn't hiding a secret that the slow advice doesn't know about. The secret is that the slow advice, applied with more income and more aggressive savings capture than it typically suggests, produces real results in real time frames, if you actually do it for the full period and don't stop when it gets boring. 5 years from now arrives whether you're building towards something or not. The question is only what your financial situation looks like when it gets there. Whether the decisions made between now and then produced momentum or just more of the same. The roadmap exists. The time frame is realistic. The math supports it. The only remaining variable is whether the work gets done.